All right, let me hit this NFL stuff real quick. There's some things that are chapping my ass, okay? First of all of you that think the NFL game's better than the college game are nuts and aren't seeing what I see on Saturdays and Sundays. 3 things that are driving me crazy. Officials miss way too many calls with the naked eye. They're throwing that yellow flag all the time. That pisses me off. How about you? 2 is offensive line play. Hell, the guy can be breathing on you and you can't get your hands on him. I've never seen worse offensive line play for a bunch of grown professionals in my life. And 3rd, offenses. Are defenses really that much better than offenses? I've never seen such crappy-ass play in my life. Defenses are always ahead, but good gracious, 3rd and 4, you can't get a first down on a continuous basis? I'm over it. We need to see more innovation on the NFL level. That's why with all these games, constantly, every single day in the NFL, you wonder why it's watered down? Well, bad play is a big part of it. I'm over it. College football's far better.
Well, kind of a new way to start off Sweet Home SEC this week.
Just a little bit.
Our buddy, our video correspondent on our NFL show, Sean Salisbury, gives us a little taste, little opinion on NFL versus college football. Not a topic we get into a lot here, but as the NFL's regular season has been, a little bit down. The ratings have been down. Attendance have been a little down. Has he fallen asleep over there? Just thinking about it?
Oh, man.
So, Sean, does what Sean said at the onset of our show here have any merit?
I think it does, especially this season. You're talking about the NFL and how ratings are down just across the board for all NFL games. It seems just the product isn't great anymore. You have the Patriots and then kind of everybody else. So college football, you've got these exciting offenses, and other than that Alabama LSU game that was a 10-0 game, but college football is definitely more exciting this season, I think. I don't know if that's going to continue as a trend or if it's just a one-season snapshot.
I've always considered the college football and the NFL, I've always considered them very equal in my mind. I've always enjoyed them equally. I have a favorite team in each one, and I think that just being able to follow that, I love the college game. I love the pageantry. I love the history. I think it definitely trumps the NFL when it comes to that kind of thing. The stadiums, some of the best stadiums in the nation, college stadiums. In the NFL, you've got a lot of really nice, nice facilities, but they're brand new. They don't have any history. Like the Cowboy Stadium, you got the one in New York, all these brand new in Minnesota, brand new Minneapolis, and it just doesn't have the same caveat. Maybe it's
Oakland Alameda Coliseum, one of the worst stadiums, maybe definitely the worst stadium in the NFL. Let's just cut to the chase here.
Piece of crap,
but the history there, with just all the great games, the Sea of Hands, George Atkinson, John Madden on the field, just so many great games there in the history. I hate to see it go away, but I think it has to.
Well, they'll probably go to Las Vegas, but I'll tell you what. Welcome to Sweet Home SEC. It's Clint Switzer. It's Noah Gronniger, and we are taking you home as always. So pull up a chair, grab yourself a glass of sweet tea, and we're going to make this real easy on you because the college football playoff, the teams are emerging. It's pretty well written right now. I tell you what, the top 4 as it stands right now, you're not going to have any more Texas A&M's kind of backing their way in.
Sorry, Washington. Louisville is going to be up in there. See you later.
Well, we got Washington taking on USC this weekend in Seattle. It's a big game because the Trojans have been hot as of late.
Destroyed Oregon. Oregon's not a great program as of late, but USC is looking like they're on fire. They could possibly give an upset for Washington. You don't see it?
Not. You saw what Washington did last weekend, defeating Cal on the road. It's a place Cal had been undefeated at home, winning 66-27. Right now, Washington is just putting up insane numbers. Their defense is really good. They did lose their leading tackler for the year and their linebacker, but I think Washington's going to be in there because once they get past USC, it could be smooth sailing to a Pac-12 title. Who's it going to be? Colorado they're going to see for the Pac-12 title? Washington is in until they decide not to be in anymore with a loss. There's not going to be any more backing in. We saw A&M, the Karma, or the Texas A&M Aggies immediately losing to Mississippi State in a huge upset. Things are pretty clear-cut right now. Although you do have those 3-2 loss teams that I mentioned last week. The Auburn, Oklahoma, and Wisconsin. Those 3 teams are still alive. And they absolutely are. Literally are. And let me tell you this, though. I don't think it's going to come to that. Because what I think what you're going to see is I think you got the Ohio State-Michigan winner in, unless Wisconsin beats them in the Big Ten Championship game. But let me tell you about something else, Noah. We've got to give props to the surging, to the up-and-coming, to the stars on the rise, Missouri Tigers, because they are absolutely in this thing. People starting to turn heads. Of course, I'm talking about women's volleyball. They're in the rankings.
Yes!
21st ranked in women's volleyball. Currently tied with the SEC lead with Florida. I heard all this week. I've been doing my research on volleyball lately. And
I thought you were a passionate fan, followed them all season. They're finally 21. You're getting excited. You're getting pumped up. Maybe they can move up to top 10.
I don't know. I think Nebraska is going to be the favorite in volleyball, which is odd. You saw Nebraska. What do you make of that?
That could be the favorite in something after getting shellacked.
Second worst loss in program history.
I mean, they hadn't faced any teams until they got to Wisconsin. Then Ohio State. They're finally playing competition, and you're seeing Nebraska is nothing. It was a complete mirage of their schedule, who they were playing, and now they're crumbling like a deck of cards.
So the order is not restored in Nebraska like they
It is not. It's going to take a few more years, some more quarterback recruits, something in there, because they are just
you saw what happened to Tommy Armstrong, a very scary head and neck injury, although oddly he came back to the game in his scrubs, out of the ambulance, and back from the hospital.
Well, that's
what
tends to happen today.
It was scary.
NFL.
It's so weird whenever I see injuries like that in a football game because I'm so passionate about football. Literally, it's all I care about in this world, to my detriment. And then something like that happens and your heart just stops and you say, this game, it does not matter at all. And that's what you see happen when you see an injury like that, and you're just glad that he's okay. You're happy to start seeing extremities getting moved. It's just very scary stuff. And, we joked about Missouri and how bad they've been. In a loss to South Carolina, Missouri's facing 2-10 straight in the face. I'll tell you, and Missouri has not been forced into only a 2-win season since 1989. This is a disaster. Barry Odom's got a lot of work to do. And we base our show a lot around the Missouri Tigers. This is the state we're in. I'm a Missouri fan. I've been there through thick and thin, through all these games. And I'll tell you, this is just devastating right now. Missouri is a rudderless ship. You don't know where this thing's going. And I don't even want to pretend that I would like to be Barry Odom right now, because this is an uphill climb.
It is. I mean, you're looking at 2 wins. I mean, you've got Vanderbilt coming up. That's a possible win.
They're better.
They're favored. Missouri is favored in this game.
Against Kentucky, too. It's
exactly.
ridiculous.
But yeah, it is ridiculous. But I definitely like Vanderbilt in this game. It looks like a 2-10 season. And yeah, Barry Odom has so much work to do. It's kind of scary. As your first year as a head coach, you're like, what did I get myself into? What did I walk into? Maybe I should have thought this through, and maybe gone somewhere else, because this is looking scary for Barry Odom. And will he ever be a coach again? If this keeps going this way, he gets fired. This could be a bad news for his coaching career.
It really could. And you just have to hope that he's got something up his sleeve here in the next year or two, because it's not looking good. But I'll tell you, when we get into this, we talk about the college game versus the NFL game. You talk about which one's more exciting. We had a game last Saturday, Alabama, LSU, physical battle out there in Baton Rouge. We know all about how they like to get down in Baton Rouge, my friend.
We know too much about that, all too well. We went down there for the Mizzou game, and it was lights out from the word go. The minute that game started, Mizzou had no chance, and it was over fast.
Well, and that's with Missouri coming in, an opponent they'd never played before. How about Alabama going in there? And I know it was a tough physical battle. Ed Ogeron has made his case to being the next head coach at LSU.
Definitely.
And we're going to talk more about this with our guest coming up, Kevin Falk, former LSU Tiger, former New England Patriot, 3-time Super Bowl champion, New England Patriots Hall of Famer. Just the accolades don't end. Yes, we're going to talk to him more about this LSU situation. But was this a game, Noah? My question to you, is this a boring game? Do people look at this and say, oh, it was 10-0, Alabama wins? Is that boring football? Or is that just 2 really physical teams getting after it, and that's entertaining because there's NFL players all over the field on those defenses?
It depends. Are you asking me, or are you asking what the masses thought?
I'm asking you. Forget the masses.
Forget the masses.
They don't watch this show.
That's true. It was an exciting game. I love physical play. This harkens back to our era of the 90s football. I mean, when defenses could play, they could hit, they could touch the receiver without flags flying. I mean, this harkens back to our day, our era, what we loved. I love seeing 2 physical teams go at it, just crushing the offensive players, wide receivers coming over the middle. They're scared. You get alligator arms over there. I loved it. For the masses, if you want me to touch on that, they hate it. They want the scoring, high flying, 50 to 55 games. They love those.
Yeah, I think so, but I like you, really enjoyed Alabama LSU because I enjoy that rivalry. I enjoy what that means to the SEC and what Alabama continuing to win means to the SEC. They're number one with a bullet. They're not going anywhere. I don't see Alabama moving from that spot at all the rest of the year, including the playoffs. But LSU at Ogeron, I can't wait to ask Kevin Falk about this.
Yeah,
where does he stand with LSU right now? What's going to happen?
I think you have to be impressed by what he's done and just how he's kind of transformed this team and really got them playing at a higher level. I mean, a new coach, interim coach coming on, you might expect that for 1 week. They buy in, like a new coach. All right, let's do it. Let's show everyone that we aren't this team. We can be a better football team. But I think he's really captured this football team and got his message across fast as an interim head coach, not expecting this to come on him. Les Miles getting fired. And this team is responding to him. They are a representation of him on that football field, and I think you have to definitely look at him as a strong candidate to return as the head football coach moving forward.
Especially if you're not looking at just some home run. You're not looking at a Jimbo Fisher, a Tom Herman. If that's the case, you got a guy right there that has head coaching experience in the SEC at Ole Miss. He's coached at USC. He's been around and around in Miami. The guy's been around, and he's a Cajun, man. You can see it in his accent. He's got that draw. He loves that team.
You hit it on the head. If it's not a home run, a Jimbo Fisher, a Tom Herman, like you said, if they're going out interviewing other coordinators at teams, a Lane Kiffin or something, come on.
Kiffin.
Ed Ogeron, this is his team right now. If you can get a Jimbo Fisher, then you entertain that, definitely. But if you're just going out after coordinators or something who might be a rising star that you think, no, you got to stick with Ed Ogeron. He's done the job. He deserves it.
Well, we talk about the two lost teams, the Auburn Tigers, and they're going to go play at Georgia, a team that just got a big win against the Kentucky Wildcats, a game we highlighted last week and said, I can't believe we're highlighting this. Georgia got a big win. They pulled away late from Kentucky with a late touchdown. Auburn, 2 losses, still alive in this thing, at least in the SEC, because they're going to have a chance at Alabama. Take that as you will. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to have a chance, but I like the way Auburn is playing. They might be the second best team in the SEC right now, behind Alabama. A&M we saw go down. We've seen Ole Miss
Trevor Knight
drop
go
off.
Down. So.
And we have Arkansas and LSU. We talked about the LSU Tigers. They're going to play Arkansas coming up here, and I think that's going to be a tricky game because Arkansas is the most chaotic team I've ever seen. They're on and off. They're up and down. They're hot and cold. I don't know what you are. You're like the girlfriend that you can never quite figure out where the heck she is. She doesn't answer your texts, or she's bombarding you with questions about where this is going. That's Arkansas to me.
That's definitely Arkansas. I love that analogy. In this game, LSU-Arkansas, I think Arkansas is just kind of done. They've had it. They've had their close games. They've been the cardiac kids, and I think they're done. They're worn out from this season, and now they're just taking beatings upon beatings, and it's over for them.
They get a big win against Florida, but by the way, that brings up this point. The SEC East, Noah, 1-13 against the SEC West this season, with the lone victory being Kentucky with a last-second field goal over Mississippi State. That's dominance from one division. The SEC East, I think, is as bad as it's been ever.
It has.
This year still. That's what they thought this was the year. Tennessee, Florida, it's back up Georgia. No. Nosedive. By the way, Missouri's awful. Vanderbilt still has just one win in the conference. Kentucky's still in second place, toiling around. The East is awful.
It's dreadful. I mean,
dreadful.
These teams, just everyone thought maybe Tennessee, a recruiting class, Josh Dobbs. I mean, Butch Jones has finally figured this thing out, and they're going to take the SEC East going away. Maybe Florida can challenge them. Georgia, new quarterback, new head coach. They're kind of in transition. That might maybe third place for them. But these teams just all nosedived, and Kentucky's reaping the benefits in second place, trying to fight for an SEC East title. The Kentucky Wildcats.
I don't think it's going to happen, but they play Tennessee this weekend. And I'll tell you, they got to go play Tennessee, and that's not going to be easy. And I think Tennessee's going to show up for this. And if they knock off Kentucky, it's going to be back to a race between they and Florida. Well, as we go forward here and you look at how things are shaking out, we talked about the college football playoff. We talk about the Big Ten, because right now it comes down to Ohio State, Michigan, maybe Wisconsin. Give them a sliver of the pie chart right now, Wisconsin, because they're right now in control of their division, and they're going to have a chance. They lost close games to I think a touchdown each to Ohio State and Michigan. They're going to get a chance here. So as the playoff looks right now, what do you see shaking out? Because you've got one loss, Louisville, in there. Any way they jump in? We talked earlier. Can they jump over Washington or Clemson?
I don't think so. I mean, Clemson beat them.
Obviously
I think
not
Clemson's
Clemson.
definitely in there. You talk about Washington. I think as long as they win out, the committee learned their lesson from Texas A&M.
I hope.
Now Trevor Knight's out, so Texas A&M is done. Especially with the second loss, they were done anyway, but they're done winning the rest of the season, I think. So I don't think so. I think they're going to keep Washington where they are as long as they keep winning. They learn their lesson. So I think it's pretty much set. Just Michigan, Ohio State, you're looking at that.
Lamar Jackson, though, Heisman over.
Yeah, it definitely is over. I mean, Ed Ogeron for LSU, we keep talking to LSU. Thought maybe Leonard Fournette could do it.
I was going to ask you about Fournette. Just what is his career going to boil down to as he goes into the NFL after this year? What is his? Is he even as good as, say, a Marcus Lattimore or a Todd Gurley is in SEC lore, or is he just a guy that just could not quite, because he couldn't beat Alabama, did not have good games against Alabama? What is his future? What is his legacy and future?
Legacy in college football is going to be one that's going to be revered and remembered over all the SEC, I think, and especially in LSU. He has had some monster games. Yes, he couldn't do it against the big competition, a.k.a. Alabama. They got a stout front seven, pretty much all NFL players in their front seven, even in their secondary. But
injuries, he's been hurt.
He has been hurt, and I kind of look at a comparison for him as a Mark Ingram, the Alabama running back.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. People coming out thought Mark Ingram would do great things in the NFL, and he's just kind of been a serviceable back, a very good running back, but not the big numbers they thought. And
is that what you see?
I do.
Future?
I do. I was thinking maybe a Trent Richardson, but that's too harsh. He's not going to completely fall on his face and be out of the league, just bouncing from team to team for a couple weeks until they realize, wow, he stinks. He cannot play. Trent Richardson is awful. We're cutting you. Get off our team. Get out of the NFL. I see more of a Mark Ingram path, who just had a good week last week for the Saints. They sat him down for Tim Hightower, but Mark Ingram came in, and he had a good game. So.
What is currently the best conference in college football?
Whew, that is tough, man.
Is it still the SEC?
I mean, if you're asking me over a whole, I don't know. It might be the Big Ten if you're looking at a whole with the... You were going to say Nebraska, but not Nebraska anymore.
Well,
I mean, they've shown their true colors. So you got Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio State. Michigan State's kind of fallen off. But those three teams, I mean, is Auburn for real? We're going to find out here in the coming weeks. It's really just Alabama and everyone else.
Well, I still think top to bottom, because you're still talking about from
LSU. And
LSU. You still have a ranked Arkansas team.
Yeah.
You've had an Ole Miss team that was in the top 10. I still think that could beat the Indianas, Illinois of the world. And you got Penn State in the Big Ten too, is playing what better.
They are playing a lot better.
So maybe it's a close call this year.
It very much is.
The only
definitely
difference
have to
is
think about
the SEC is going to win the national championship. So
yeah, that kind of sways it to them. Even if they only had one team in the SEC, and you throw LSU and Auburn into the Big Ten, sorry, it's still the SEC because Alabama's winning the national championship.
Well, guys, our website, GreatAmericanSportsNetwork.com, it is all archived there. We write articles. We do it all. You'd be surprised at what we're capable of.
Made a documentary.
Stadium Crashers. StadiumCrashers.com.
All the SEC college football stadiums.
If you have any questions, comments for our guests, future guests, at GASN Sports on Twitter, we'll get you to us. Any time of the day, we answer those tweets, or you do. I go to bed
kind of handle that. I love the interaction.
Early.
You do. So.
Yeah, the interaction.
I was up till 1:30. Just please, Trump win, please.
Yeah, you did. You get any sleep over that? Or?
Oh, not really. So everyone was very frustrated at work. We're
making
women crying, tears.
We're making football great again here.
That's
on the
what
Great
we
American
do.
Sports Network.
That's what we do.
This is Sweet Home SEC. Thank you so much for being with us. Good night.